Is God real? Well, firstly, what is real? So, real is a concept that is defined in opposition to unreal. So, if we're talking about God as a concept here, and we're asking if it's real, the only way we could define it as such is if we are defining it against unreal. Now, the problem here is how we define God. Now, God is typically given the characteristics of being omnipresent, right? So, God is also typically expressed as being omniscient. And God is also often described as being omnipotent. So, omnipresent, that means everywhere. Present, everywhere. Omniscient, that means all knowing. There is nothing unknown to this conceptual God that we're hypothetically describing. And omnipotent means all powerful. So there's nothing that God can't do. Now, let's go back to defining what real is. So if real is defined opposite to unreal, then that would mean that there are some things that are real and there are some things that are unreal, right? We could think of unreal things, maybe like a video game or a TV show or a dream or imagination, things like that. And things that we could conventionally call real are things like planets, people, animals, elements, cars, trees, stuff like that. So we got the real stuff and we got the unreal stuff. Well, if God, which category would God fall into? Well, if God is omnipotent, no, I'm sorry, if God is omnipresent, then that would have to mean that God falls into both categories. Right? Because God is present everywhere. That would also imply in everything. So God would be in that TV show, in that video game. And God would be so everywhere that there would be no room for anything but God. Right? How could there be space for something to exist if God is everywhere? So if God is everywhere and there's no space for anything else to exist, then wouldn't that have to also imply that God is everything? Or maybe more accurately, everything is God. Because God could certainly transcend the what we normally um, are aware of as real and unreal. But if by definition God is omnipresent, then it's you basically what my point here is that real is a category that exists and unreal is a category that also exists. So unreal exists and real exists, and God is everything everywhere, and because God is everywhere, there's no room for anything but God, so therefore everything is God. And because God is everything and everywhere, there is no opposite to God. That's where we would say that God is absolute, because it is always the case, because there is no opposite, there is no other, it's non-dual, right? So if that's the case, then we could say that everything is God. But we could also make the claim that God is real is not a is not a coherent statement with this logic. So you could say God transcends all categories, including reality and unreal. So is God real? Real is not real. There's no reality. Reality is a relative play of opposites that is no other than God. If God is omniscient, that means God knows everything. That means that everything that you know, God knows, according to that logic. And that also would mean that what you know of your own vision and perception right now, God knows. So it's basically saying that you looking out of your eyes is really God looking out of his eyes. I don't know why that happens. God looking out of your eyes. So really, you can look at like God is all there is. There are no people. There are no planets. There are no trees. And none of it's real. God is that is kind of like the metaphorical clay that takes on the form of the cosmos. But that is just like saying way too much, because it's also not that. You could think of yeah, you can't really put any words on what God is, but it's all that you all that you've ever known, all that you've ever seen, all that you've ever identified with, all that you've ever loved, all that you've ever despised. Um, that was all actually just God. And that's and it's neither real or unreal. So yeah, if you like this video, then please hit the like button. If you want to see more content like this, then please subscribe. If you know anybody who might like this, then please share it. And if you have anything you want to say, then please comment down below. And if you want to get notifications whenever I drop new content, then hit the little bell button. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.